In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you an example of an OPS school that has transitioned their first class conferences to the Office 365 sites. In just a little bit, I'll be taking you into this tile for sites, but what I wanted to show you is the way that your staff members would first initially choose to follow the school site. So in my example, I have an email, and in that email, it's asking me to be invited to the Wilson Focus School site. This is one of the schools that was part of our pilot program. So when your staff are ready to start using your site for your school, you'll send an email. They'll click on the blue link that takes them to their school, and it will open up their site. So you can see that I have the Wilson Focus School site open. This is private to only Wilson Focus staff members, parents, community members. They cannot see this. This is all for internal purposes. And if your staff members don't want to always go back to that email to find the link, what they can choose is up in the far corner is the follow button. When they select that follow button, it's actually going to land it in the site's tile. So if I go back to the little grid on the far left side and I select sites, this is where I'll go to find my school site every day. So when I open up Office 365, I can go directly to my site each morning, check the announcements, check the calendar, other pertinent things, and then I can move over to my Outlook email. So once you've clicked that follow, it's going to go into the sites tile. Under the link that says sites I'm following, you can see that I have my Wilson Focus School. And then your staff members can choose to follow other types of sites. Maybe it's the CIA site for their grade level. Perhaps it's another site that they're a part of. Maybe if they're the academic data rep, they're following that site from research. So eventually they'll start to build what sites they want to follow down at the bottom. Very similar to first class where they had the little icons for the conferences that they were a part of. The other thing is at the top, you'll eventually start seeing all of the department sites. So CIA, HR, Comps and Benefits, once they start building their department sites, those will land up here at the top. I'm going to go into that Wilson Focus School site and give you a quick demonstration of some of the key features of that site. When I say a site, I want you to think it's very similar to a website, but they're taking that schoolhouse conference from first class, and you're going to be putting some of the key things that you did in first class inside this website. People will be familiar with that left navigation going down the side and familiar with that navigation going across the top. This first page is the school site, so it's replacing that schoolhouse in the first class conference area. And in this, what the web team is going to design is after piloting and after interviewing schools on how they use first class, they found that there were 5 main things that every school needed or used in first class that the site could have it also. There's even some things in there that first class couldn't do that the site is capable of doing. So I'm going to walk you through those 5 things. We're going to take a look at the announcements, calendar, discussion, the file repository that connects to OneDrive, and then something new with Microsoft, a OneNote Notebook. Those 5 things will be a part of every school site. The school gets to decide how they use them, whether they want to use them, and then if there's any additional things that they want to bring in. So Wilson Focus School is allowing every Wilson Focus staff member rights to view and edit the parts of this main site. Eventually, your school can determine if you want every staff member to be able to view and edit, or if you want specific permissions set. What they chose is to put master announcements at the top. In their master announcements, they also chose to only display 5 at a time. If there's more than 5, then they'll start to build up another announcements area that it will go under. You can also set the announcements to expire, which is really nice because in first class you had to go in and delete them, but these will expire as the time goes by. Master announcements are one-way communication, maybe announcing a due date coming up, an assembly that's coming up, something that the whole staff might find of interest. Directly below that, you'll see how they're using their calendar. Now, some schools are choosing to put their calendar at the top. Wilson Focus School chose to put their announcements at the top. Those are some choices that you'll be able to make at your school as a site admin. Wilson Focus School chose to make the default view of the calendar a week at a time so that users can move forward by clicking the arrow to go from one week to the next or back to previous weeks. They felt that a month at a glance would show too much and be a little bit overwhelming, but you can make that choice for your school's site. Another unique thing about this is that they are using layered calendars. Each of the different colors denotes a different calendar. So they have red for professional development meetings. They have a darker blue for when the admin are going to be out of the building, a darker brown for their testing window. And what's nice about this is that with these layers, when you go towards the top to the left, they have all of the layers so that you can specifically pull out what it is that you're looking for. So if you're looking specifically for the professional development in the building, you can select the PD calendar. And if your teachers were doing their professional development log, they could easily fill out that log for the year, going month by month and looking at the professional development. You can choose to have up to 10 layers on your master calendar. However, if your school has a lot of checkout cards, like iPad carts or laptop carts or computer lab needing to be checked out, you could create a separate section for resource calendars and layer up to 10 calendars on that. I'm going to move back to the main page. Another thing that will be placed on every page is a discussion area. So Wilson Focus School chose to put their discussion area directly below the calendar so that every staff member has access to add something to the discussion. This is a little bit different also because when you want to see what others respond to the discussion, you click on the link and you're allowed to respond to that discussion if you have an answer or something to share, or you can go view what other people have shared. In this example, nobody has shared back, but I would like to show you inside the example, there's a little button that says Alert Me. And inside all of your sites, there's lots of options for alerts. So you could set an alert on the whole page. And what the alert's going to do is it's going to allow you to get an email anytime there's a change made on the Wilson School page. Or you can set an alert on specific web apps. So you could set the alert on the announcements and the calendar and only get emails when those are there. Or if you're the person that posts the discussion, you could get an alert on that specific discussion. And then when anybody adds to it, you can have that emailed to you. You can even set the alerts so that they're sent as a daily summary so that you're not getting too many emails in one day. The next section is the master documents. Now in Office 365, everybody has a OneDrive area for themselves. This allows you to store files, share files, edit files inside this cloud OneDrive for Business. But your school site also gets a OneDrive for Business file repository area. This is great for creating those folders that you want everybody to add to or be able to access. For example, they have their yearbook folder that all teachers have access to add pictures to. Perhaps your school principal wants lesson plans turned in. They could create a folder here and the teachers could put the lesson plans in there rather than having to email all of them or print them out. Another example that they have is their newsletters that they send out to families. Families can't access it here, but a teacher could pull a copy from this location. So this is great for those documents that you want shared throughout the whole staff. Now for site admins, there's this feedback button. This allows you to give feedback to Jerry and Angela's web team if you have any questions about your site, and then they can push that further to Microsoft if they can't answer the questions. So I've shown you 4 of the things that are going to be placed on your school site. There's other things that can be added to this besides just these 4 basic ones, but this is where we're all going to start. And then the 5th thing is a OneNote Notebook. So this is unique because Microsoft has OneNote Notebooks and First Class didn't have this. Every school page will be given one OneNote Notebook by default, and then you can always add more notebooks if you want. The way that Wilson Focus School is using it is they're using it for their staff handbook. So the principal would lay out the binders at the beginning of the year, make all the copies, put all the copies in, and then usually by the first staff meeting have to change some of those. Or through the school year have to hand back out documents and say, okay, add that to your staff handbook. What a OneNote Notebook is essentially that 3-ring binder, but it's living in the cloud right here. It's going to be easy to be changed and easily accessed from any device. So I'll take you into the staff handbook here, and the principal took the sections from his handbook and turn them into sections of this 3-ring binder. And then in each section, you can build pages. So you can see there's a basic section that introduces the staff handbook, has a page for the mission and vision and so on. And if a teacher wants to specifically find something, they can go to their teacher tab, and then they can go to the page that they're interested in. So at the end of the year, if they're trying to find out what is it that I need to make sure is in the CUM folder, What the principal has done is he's named the page cume folder, and then he opened up the Word document where he already had all of this typed, and he copy pasted it into this area where it's updated for the staff members. I'm going to move back to the Wilson Focus School. That OneNote Notebook is going to be available to you. You can always add more notebooks if you have a purpose for it. Now I've shown you the main site for Wilson Focus School, and each school is going to be able to build sub-sites. And each sub-site is going to have the same 5 things. They'll have the announcements, the calendar, the discussion. They'll have an area for files and a OneNote notebook. So one way that they're doing it is they took their grade level teams because they know that their grade levels like to collaborate and share documents. So each of these grade level teams were given those 5 basic features. I'll take you into 5th grade as an example. Whether your staff members choose to use the areas or not, at least they're able to access them. So they have their announcements and their discussion. They have an area to share documents. They have a OneNote notebook. They could even add in a calendar. So inside this example, if a 5th grade teacher has like a great science lesson, they could add it to the science page. They also kept it so that anybody in the school could access these grade levels in teams, so that if the instructional facilitator or maybe an ESL teacher has something to add that's specific to the 5th grade, they could do that. Now, I told you the 5 basic things, but then there's also additional things you can add in. So at this school, here's an example of something they added to every team page. This is a Lynx module to the OneDrive that their assistant principal is using to share things after she returns from ADR and instructional facilitator meetings and other documents that are important to everybody in the school or to larger groups than just one grade level. So if she has something that is specific for math, but most of the grade levels could find it useful, she'll place it into this area, and then every grade level has access to her documents right here. Something that you don't see is a subsite within Wilson Focus School called Admin. Only the admin have rights to view that. It falls in between these 2 subsites, and that's an area that they have restricted where just the admin of the building have the same 5 things so that they can use it to collaborate on documents. They could use it for announcements or discussion amongst themselves if their admin team was larger. They could even have a OneNote notebook. Every building is going to also have in their site a link straight to the district departments. So this allows you to get out to those departments like CIA, HR, Comps and Benefits without having to go back to the Sites button. And then also a link to the district support sites. Those would be those third-party sites that aren't directly OPS specific, like OEA, ESU 19, and so on. Now within the whole site, there's this little search at the top. This will allow you to search anywhere on the site. For example, if maybe you're looking for that January newsletter, you're not sure where it is, it will search inside and find that. What it will not search are OneNote notebooks. However, in a OneNote notebook, there is a search option inside there. So I'm going to go back to that Wilson Focus School. Just a reminder, every school will be having a site built for them. They'll get those 5 basic things: announcements, calendar, discussion, file repository, and a OneNote notebook. And then we'll be working with you to determine what types of subsites you need. If you want that admin, the teams, and then any other subsites that might fall under it. I hope this is a good understanding of what's about to come, and we look forward to working with you as we build these sites. Have a great day.